How is what you're developing different than what's happening in the Amazon Go stores?
Thank you for having me here today. So what we are doing differently in our space here is that how can we make it affordable to everybody, every retailer out there? It doesn't not have to be a golden ceiling, gold-plated ceiling expensive. It has to be something that people can afford, and existing camera can be used. Existing camera in the stores, like CCTV cameras, can be leveraged instead of having to deploy some new technology. So our approach and our pursuit is to make it affordable, and that's what we are going after.
So explain that a little bit more. Tim earlier said that you were using Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. How does the technology actually work here for the cashierless experience?
So the technology works in a like a musical chorus would be all together, working together in different sensors. So imagine it's about 17 kind of sensors we use, and we try to deploy what's available in the market, what's available in the space, and they all work in coordination to provide that data, that truth that's required to figure out what's happening within the store, and that information is then pumped into a artificial intelligence engine, which would process information to find out what's happening. For example, how the shoppers are shopping, what they exactly picked up from the shelf, and what they're putting into the basket. And essentially, when the shopper walks out of the store, we know exactly how many items they bought and where all they browsed and dwelled in the store.
Atul, I'm curious about this tidbit that emerged last week in this story from about Microsoft. One of the challenges that the article mentioned was that the company, the technology is relatively expensive, and groceries are very low margin anyway. So one thing that has to happen is the technology has to get cheap enough where it would make sense for these companies to then, really for lack of a better term, eliminate the cashiers from the equation. I'm having trouble reconciling that because it costs so much to employ people, and if this truly does remove those jobs from the equation, then even if it were expensive technology, it really wouldn't take that long for it to pay off.
Well, first of all, that's exactly what we are after. That how can you make this technology affordable to begin with? And we already are on the path, and we are succeeding pretty well to be able to use existing sensors and make it much, much cheaper than what's out there in other alternatives. At the same time, this is not about elimination of jobs, but creation of new jobs, in fact. The thing about it, instead of the shoppers going to a non-physical store, like an e-tailer, you rather want to have them come into the store and have business available. And the people who are on the checkout counter, they can be better using their time helping a customer just fit inside the store, and they actually are having trouble finding a product of the choice. So they rather want to get off from there and help out customers, and checkout be automated. So essentially, we are trying to add a new segment to the market. Imagine that I am a office goer, and I got 15 minutes from my lunchtime, and my next meeting in 15 minutes. I may not go to a store or a restaurant where it may take longer than 15 minutes to go to the store and stand in line, come back, because I'll miss my meeting. So I'd rather go to a place where I can go grab my sandwich or grab my grocery in my 5 minutes and come back. So now I'm a new customer for that store. I never was a customer because I never had time. But now with this new technology, there's a new segment opening up for them. So it's about opening a new segment more than reducing your cost in the space. But the people in the checkout line can be used for augmenting the store experience rather.
So in addition to sort of speeding up the time that it takes for someone to pick something up, buy their groceries, Amazon has cited customer data as one of the advantages of having this technology in Amazon Go stores, understanding how customers are shopping in person, tying that to their Amazon account as well. How does data come into play here for you at Ava Retail, and how are you also ensuring data security as well for customers who are concerned that they're giving up a lot of data here?
Absolutely. So there are two parts. One is that the technology we use here would give retailer a lot of insights into shopper behavior and what products they should be carrying in the store. The right product mix, the right experience, all that will come out of the data that we capture. So we have this full stack solution that has lots of back-end interfaces to figure out how shoppers shop, to what kind of products they should carry, and what CPGs are doing better, and how should they provide data back to the manufacturer. Now, having talked about that, we are very conscious about data security as well as privacy. The data you talked about here are all anonymous shopper information to begin with. They're all encrypted to multiple levels, and they are available only to the right a partner developing whole story is very secure. Now, having said that, privacy is the next part where how can we make sure that the customer is comfortable in the shopping environment. And we are complying with GDPR. So if the customer says, I do not want this data to be exist in your portal anymore, we have ways to remove that data altogether for each customer to complain about that or they want it removed. So we are complying with both these processes, and we are proud to do so because that's very important to every consumer. We are here to make it frictionless, not about making their privacy an issue.
All right, Atul Harpar, CEO of Ava Retail, thank you so much for joining us here today on Cheddar.